Good evening, fine peoples. I would like to continue our discussions today about Mars, about the fifth Sephiroth on the Tree of Life. Mars, number 5, the negative charge on the left side, the left pillar. And I would like to talk about just the essence, the direct olfactory scent of Mars. It's of course, the planet is red, because it's known when you get so angry you see red. That's part of it. Gebura is the name of the Sephiroth. And the smell is tobacco and leather. That battlefield sort of smell, you could say. So in the Kabbalah, in the sense of the sphere, which is known as justice or severity, reflect the rough and tumble life of the Mars-ruled type. Its archetype is the warrior king, and includes soldiers, adventurers, athletes, and others who embody the spirit of the warrior. The militant warrior type yearns for victory, Netzach, much as Ares yearns for Aphrodite. The spiritual aspects taught in martial arts capture the essence of the sphere, Gebura. The mystical experience of this sphere is brutal self-assessment of your personality from the perspective of your higher self. Positive qualities of this station to integrate include assertiveness, bravery, courage, devotion to duty, discipline, firmness, fitness, fortitude, obedience to the highest self-authority, you could say, power, self-control, self-defense, self-sacrifice, strength, virility, and vitality. Those strong in these qualities are competitive, usually muscular and fit, and have an interest in weaponry and defensive or offensive strategies. So, tobacco. Nicotiana tabacum, or tobacco flower, is a plant whose perfume is most pronounced in the evening. Tobacco leaf absolute comes from Nicotiana. It recalls the smell of a cigar and bears some resemblance to the body note of musk. Decolorized absolutes are available. The annual plant of the nightside family originated in North America but now grown in many places worldwide. Europeans had their first exposure to tobacco when they saw the Indians of North America using it as a ceremonial smoke. Sir Walter Raleigh brought it back to England, where it promptly gained interest and wide use as smoke and snuff. The use of snuff became very popular in pre-revolutionary France. Tobacco also was used widely as a disinfectant and as a preventative of infection. Even children were made to smoke in the belief that this would help them escape the plague. Today, chewing tobaccos are popular, blah, blah, blah. These often have rum and extract of licorice added to improve their flavor. Scent and appearance. Tobacco leaf absolute is processed from concrete with solvents, mostly in France and the United States. Virginia type leaves are preferred, but Turkish and Syrian are acceptable. Ayatollah absolute. Absolute from concrete is semi-solid and dark brown and has a strong, repulsive cigar odor. Distilling yields a paler, amber-colored, viscous liquid. In dilution, it has the characteristic tobacco scent. Anhydrol tobacco, Givaudan, is a product of this type, though it is somewhat dilute. Resinoine incolor tabac is another powerful concentrate of this type. Phenolactic acid is a major component of these products and is used in artificial tobacco flavors. Blending. Tobacco flower is simulated by a variation on the jasmine theme, adding lily components such as lilial, lyrol, or a cyclamen aldehyde with small amounts of p-cresol methyl ether or p-cresol acetate. Absolute of tobacco flowers is unavailable to the public because it is made by a few perfume houses for their own use. This absolute or its substitutes are used not only in the tabac type of modern or aldehydic perfumes, but also for dry or masculine effects in fantasy blends or oriental blends. These materials blend well with sandalwood, castoreum, labdanum, clary sage, vetiver, bergamot, methyl ionones, and cedarwood derivatives. They produce effects that are very hard to imitate or match with other materials. Now, leather. Leather or cuir bases have continued to be popular and are widely used in perfumery for a masculine flair. There are English leather, Russian leather, and Spanish leather. All derive their main odor from birch tar oil, synthesized in Europe and the United States, mostly. So the history is that Queen Elizabeth I loved clothes and perfume and patronized Spanish artisans who created fabulous perfumed leathers. First, they made a mixture of oils of neroli, rose, sandalwood, lavender, and verbena with a hint of clove and cinnamon and diluted it with a half pint of spirits, adding 4 ounces of gum benzoin for fixative. Animal skins were then steeped in the perfume. After drying, the skins were spread with a civet and musk paste. This is the historical basis of the famous Spanish leather. From the white birch, Betula alba, an aromatic oil known as Russian leather is derived. The extraction was rubbed on leather book covers to perfume and preserve them. The Russian government guarded the secret recipe for the extraction for years. The rooms in some European libraries, such as those at Oxford, that contain Russian-bound books are still redolent of fragrance. Perfumed leather accounts for an interesting aspect of the history of perfume making. The rural city of Grasse, France, was known for producing hides of good quality. It then began making perfumed leather, from which it evolved into a center for perfume production. The city's artisans cured their leathers with powdered myrtle, which gave the hides a green hue. By the end of the 17th century, Grasse held a rich and powerful monopoly on the trade, keeping their perfumery art a secret. 3 years of apprenticeship were required to master the art. By 1789, the exorbitant tax on tanned hides caused a change in fashion to delicate fragrances. This persisted into the 18th century, when the French Revolution marked the change from individual craftsmanship to industrial expansion and the deluxe perfume trade. Now, perfumers often speak of leather notes or leather perfume types. Originally, the terms referred to the smell of untanned leather, but they came to being the odor acquired in tanning. Phenols are used for preservativeness, and natural tars mask the odors of the process. The characteristic smell comes from the tars. Synthetic leather bases that imitate the English, Russian, and Spanish leathers are available in essential oil form, but they are blends, not the true essence. In France, the leather notes are known as cuir or cuir de rosé, but none of the commercial products are based on natural leather. Birch tar oil fractions, castoreum tincture, various phenols, cresols, creosols, cananga oil, storax, and crude amber oil are used in the artificial reproduction of the leather odor type. So you can make your own Spanish leather by immersing chamois in the following mixture for 10 days. 5 parts rectified birch tar oil, 25 parts sandalwood oil, 20 parts bergamot oil, 20 parts petite grain oil, 10 parts lavender oil, 5 parts clary sage oil, 4 parts coumarin, coumarin, 10 parts rose synthetic, 900 parts industrial alcohol, and then that all equals up to 1,000. So then you drain and dry the leather on a piece of glass, then spread thickly with the following and press until it dries. This mix can be modified with patchouli, labdanum, oak moss, jasmine, musk, neroli, or olibanum, among other scents. So it's 150 parts amber liquid, 50 parts olibanum R, 200 parts glycerin, 350 parts rose water, 200 parts acacia powder. So 1,000. So it's 1,000 altogether. So this is your little lesson today on that side. And we're going to continue to Mars, and is in terms of what path it is on the Tree of Life, which is the tarot card known as the Tower. And the Tower is about the Mars energy kind of gone wrong. It's when it kind of explodes in your face a little bit. So the scent that's attributed to Mars, as far as its path is concerned on the Tree of Life, is dragon's blood. And it's the key of C, the musical chord C, which all the newer death metal bands play in. All of the heavy metal bands these days. And the taste, you could say, also the smell, pepper. Pepper. It's a very peppery, spiky feeling. But the tower, again, it's when all this crazy, raging energy, it can go wrong. So the tower is ruled by Mars, and the letter P, the Jewish letter P, tone C, and the color red. The pungent and caustic nature of pepper reflects the nature of this path, which signifies the startling awakening of superconsciousness that can come as a shock as well as a clear flash or vision. The breakdown of the fortress of the personality opens one to the establishment of the divine. This path is the balancing of reason with desire. This inner growth can sometimes be painful and even overwhelming. There are positive and negative traits on this path, some to acquire and some to transmute. Anger, bravery, brutality, courage, defensiveness, discipline, dissipation, dominance, impetuosity, impulsiveness, irritability, maliciousness, militance, obstinance, strength, valor, vehemence, vigor, volatility, and zeal. From the immature fruits of the pepper vine, Piper nigrum, black pepper oil is steam distilled. So-called lampong pepper is preferred for perfume oil. The plant climbs from 12 to 20 feet tall, vining up tall trees which shade its growth. It is perennial, with a woody stem and ovate leaves. Small white flowers yield round berries that are red when ripe. Plants are harvested from the 3rd to the 15th year of their lives. This is a native of the jungles of India, and it has been cultivated for hundreds of years and is now grown also in Malaya, Indochina, and Indonesia. In modern times, the center for pepper trade is Singapore. Here, Malabar, Sumatran, and Penang pepper is wholesaled for export. Small amounts are cultivated in Madagascar and Thailand. So, mentioned by Roman writers in the 5th century, pepper figured in the history of Rome when Attila demanded 3,000 pounds as part of a ransom for that city. The oil is liquidy, water white to pale green-gray, but it becomes more viscous with age. The aromatic oil smells fresh, dry, woody, warm, spicy, and somewhat reminiscent of elemi. The oil is not pungent at all, since these constituents do not leach out in steam distillation. They are light and heavy pepper oils. The heavy oil is most tenacious, but the light type has a very volatile top note, easily lost in the improper storage. So with blending, though this oil does not have wide application in regular perfumery, it can be blended with eugenol and isoeugenol for carnation and rose bases, or for oriental, amber, and dry aldehydic bases. It is quite interesting mixed with rose. The path culminates in Nizza, which corresponds to rose, among others. So this is your little lesson on Mars today, and a little short but sweet, but it gets right to the point. So continue studying these tarot cards. The tarot trumps will lead you to all manner of glory, and it's a personal glory, and it's a glory that anyone who studied the tarot cards will have found themselves in. And everybody's version of their glory is a little bit different. But the visionary experience is what it is, and that's what we hope to establish in your minds here at the Dr. Zeero Free Magic School and Free Magic Secrets Show. Until later, this is Dr. Zeero signing off, and enjoy your night and all those great fun things. Bye.